After his execution was suspended, Kafka now joined the 1st Division of the Defense Forces. It was there that he had to prove that he was a useful pawn with his kaiju powers. And a few days later, Kafka's first mission finally began. So the arc begins when a giant hole appears in the middle of Tokyo. That's when a swarm of ant-type kaiju comes to the surface and attacks civilians. And after receiving a report, the 1st Division Defense Forces swiftly moved to the scene. Now, when seeing the type of kaiju that appeared, Captain Naromi immediately noticed something odd. Usually, ant-type kaiju only appear in underground tunnels. So the fact that they came to the surface in large numbers indicates a mysterious factor. And after seeing what happened at the Tachikawa headquarters, Naromi concluded that there might be a humanoid kaiju leading this attack. In addition to having sharp deduction skills, we are also shown how great Naromi is at leading he-men, besides being shown how he was able to kill kaiju in one attack. With him command and direction, Division 1 was able to eradicate the kaiju while civilians were evacuating. And not only Naromi, Kakoru also showed his prowess and development in front of other members. With his special weapon, Kakoru was able to show a more effective fighting style and managed to eradicate one kaiju at a time. That's when his seniors were amazed, but inversely proportional to Kakoru, Kafka struggled in his first mission with Division 1. At first, he only turned his legs and hands into kaiju, but the partial transformation was not enough for Kafka to defeat the kaiju. That's why in the end, Kafka felt that he no longer needed half measures and tried to change completely. But mysteriously, Kafka failed to transform. As a result, he also had a direct attack from the ant kaiju, who came to attack him. This is where the situation became increasingly serious, when kaiju with a high level of strength was detected to appear. From below where Kafka was standing, kaiju number 9 finally appeared. By merging his body into the ant kaiju, kaiju number 9 deliberately targeted numbers to avenge him. But when he saw the human form, the kaiju was clearly surprised, because the point where Kaiju 8 was detected was instead occupied by humans. But Kaiju number 9 immediately suspected that the human in front of him was indeed the kaiju he was looking for. That's why, without thinking, a shot was fired by the kaiju, which hit Kafka in the shoulder. Now in another place, when Kaiju number 9 was detected, Naromi intended to go straight to him. Especially after receiving reports that Kafka had failed to transform. But that's when in front of Naromi, a kaiju with a high level of strength had also arrived, and he was also Kaiju number 9, who had merged himself with an ant kaiju, meaning that the humanoid kaiju had split. Not stopping there, chaos is also spreading to all areas. The ant kaiju who have been defeated one by one are awakening and becoming stronger. Not only that, they are also increasingly spreading and making the area of operation even wider. So since kaiju number 9 came to appear, things seemed to immediately turn around. Back to Kafka. While saying that he had planted his seed, kaiju number 9 intended to kill Kafka. He also said that after killing kaiju number 8, he would seize the power of kaiju that fell to humans. What kaiju power is meant here? We will see it at the end. Now, with bullet balloons around his body, shot after shot was sent by kaiju 9 and continued to bombard Kafka's body. But when Kafka tried to change, he again failed. Finally, kaiju 9 was preparing to send his mass shot. But before the shot was released, from behind Kakoru came slashing at him. With his axe, Kakoru had managed to split kaiju number 9 into 2. But because his core organs were unharmed, the kaiju was still able to regenerate. But in front of the kaiju who had humiliated him, Kokoro was determined to kill him. Now knowing that Kafka had difficulty changing, Kokoro suspected that this had something to do with kaiju number 9. That's why he intended to continue to attack the kaiju and create an opportunity for Kafka to change again. Because at this time Kokoro realized that he needed Kafka's kaiju power. Kokoro and Kafka split up and tried to attack the kaiju from 2 directions. But we are shown that kaiju number 9 is able to double his head and attack both opponents at the same time. That's when the shots hit Kafka and Kokoro. Not only that, by utilizing the speed of kaiju ants, kaiju number 9's movements become difficult to predict. But even with gunshot wounds on his body, Kokoro was still able to come forward to attack. With his dexterity and speed, she managed to surprise kaiju number 9, until finally, she managed to land slash after slash into the kaiju's bullet balloon. Kokoro's action impressed the deputy general. He even said that Kokoro reminded him of his mother, Hikari Shinomiya. So Hikari, or Kokoro's mother, used to be a kaiju exterminator soldier who was admired by many people with kaiju armor number 4. Hikaru is said to always fight elegantly. That's why when Kokoro was a child, she was always proud of his mother's work. She even promised to become a kaiju exterminator too in order to protect his mother. Until finally, in a kaiju disaster, Hikari sacrificed herself and died on the battlefield. Starting from there, Kokoro always looked at his father with a serious face, but from there Kokoro was even more determined to become a member of the defense forces. Until now, Kokoro is always determined to fight with all his might so that his colleagues do not die on the battlefield. And with that burning determination, Kokoro managed to slash the arms and bullet balloons of kaiju number 9. Until finally, with the help of Kafka, who kicked the kaiju and that number 9 was riding, Kokoro was able to send a mass slash that split the kaiju. This is where Kafka's chance to transform finally appeared. But as soon as he was about to transform, he imagined from behind his body a kaiju that came and wanted to eat him. Not only that, an image where Kafka in his kaiju body kills his colleagues also crossed Kafka's mind, and it turns out that this is what makes Kafka always fail to transform. Kafka is afraid that if he changes his body, will be taken over again and end up rampaging. That's why Kafka unconsciously doesn't dare to become a kaiju anymore. This wasted opportunity was immediately taken advantage of by kaiju number 9. He immediately shot at Kafka and Kokoro, who were defenseless. Even Kokoro's axe weapon was destroyed. But Kokoro did not give up. Knowing that all this time Kafka was only afraid, Kokoro immediately gave him an encouragement. She told Kafka not to underestimate his colleagues, because even though kaiju Kafka was raging, she and the other soldiers would not die that easily. Even with only his gun, Kokoro got up and still tried to face kaiju number 9. While Kafka seemed to be slapped by Kokoro's words, all this time Kafka should have known that the colleagues who fought with him were strong soldiers and always amazed him, because that's why Kafka realized that he had to trust them. Finally, Kafka tried to transform again, and this time with a shout and a more powerful energy release, he managed to turn into kaiju number 8.